In order, please. City of Washington Common Council meeting, November 8, 2021, 6:30 p.m. Council chambers. Can we have a moment of silence for our veterans and our COVID-19 victims, please? Thank you. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May we have roll call, please?
Councilman Lunsford.
Here.
Councilman Brown.
Here.
Councilman Gross.
Here.
Councilman Kempton.
Here.
Councilman Emmons.
Here.
Councilman Dahl.
Here.
Councilman Showalter.
Here. Okay, very good, thank you. Approval of minutes of the October 25th, 2021 regular meeting in front of you tonight. Anybody have any questions or concerns on the minutes?
Make a motion to approve.
Councilman Gress makes a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
Councilman Emmons seconds it. All in favor?
Aye. I have
Opposed?
to abstain.
Abstain on Councilman Dahl. And opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, written claims in front of you tonight, presented to you. Any questions or concerns about the claims? I looked at them, I didn't see anything.
I'll make a motion, send those to the board.
Councilman Kempton makes a motion to send them to Board of Works.
Second.
Councilman Brown seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, comments by the members of the public other than what's on the agenda tonight. Stand up and state your name,
My
please.
name is Ellen Shearer, I'm 3 Deerfield Lane, and I'm just concerned about the planned development across the creek from my backyard. And it's high density, and it's to the south of that, as individual homes that have an acre or more. And on our side of the creek, there's half acres at least, all half acres. And this would affect our property values, especially if we have to sell. It would devalue our homes, having that kind of density there in the middle of all these single-family homes.
Okay, Johnson, you wanna, the question, and one of the questions she has is the number of units, the question that's going into this, possibly proposed to go in this unit, piece of property.
Yeah, so the property she's discussing is just south of Deerfield. Okay, it's probably 9 acres, I believe, if I haven't looked at it since a week ago, but yes, they have came before the Plan Commission to request a rezone. It's not on this agenda. More than likely it'll be on the next council meeting's agenda for the first reading. At the time of the plan, there were 17 buildings, 5 units apiece, so there's upwards of 80 plus. Townhomes, 5 hooked together at a time. Square footage matched up and everything, but then once we got to the Plan Commission meeting, it kind of all changed. They didn't think they wanted to do all 17 buildings worth of townhomes. May do some single families. So we haven't heard anything since then. We heard the same thing the Plan Commission did when they changed kind of their plan midstream. So nothing has come back to our office. Even if it would get rezoned and you guys think it's okay to do that, with the owners, potential owners of the property, if they would happen to, or excuse me, if they plan to divide them, subdivide, so they would automatically have to go back in front of the Plan Commission with their development plan to get that approval, regardless, of the reason.
So what is it zoned now?
Right now, it is R2.
Is that where the trailer is?
Correct,
Yes.
correct, yeah. Yeah, and they were going for an R3, for the multifamily. Deerfield is R2, and that was zoned essentially because of the lot sizes. In Deerfield subdivision, they want a little bit smaller lots than R1. So across the street, we would have Cherry Tree Apartments. That strip and pretty much half of that cornfield is already R3. You know, so it's not like they would be spot zoning, so to speak. So
The
it's-
planning commission did vote to recommend to the council to rezone it, and that'll
Correct.
be, that ordinance will be up on the
So
next
this
meeting.
is part of the Cherry Tree?
No.
No,
No, it's across
totally
the street.
separate,
Okay. So you brought
private.
that up, so I thought maybe.
Yeah, just
Right.
showing what other zoning's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to see, I'll be glad to forward all the information that we have at this point in time, and share that.
Anybody else like to talk and mention?
I'm Vicki Karras, we have a lot there. Here's my problem with that whole thing. They are gonna stick 85, if it goes through, 85 units scrunched in there in our backyard. Right in our backyard. They're not gonna put any yard. They said, as a matter of fact, someone at the other meeting said, oh, people don't like to mow anyway, so they don't want a lot. Well, I'll tell you what, there's gonna be at least 150 kids if this is family housing, and maybe more, that's with 2 kids a family. Kids like to play outside. You can't say, oh no, they're not gonna wanna play outside. We are in their backyard, we have a pool, we have swings, we have worked hard to set that up. And now to have to fight off people because they didn't set up, they haven't set it up properly. You need a big play area, their parking isn't right, they don't have enough parking. Are they gonna park over on our street? There's a lot of problems, it hasn't been looked at thoroughly enough.
Well, the planning's not even developed yet.
No, but what they're showing
It could
is
change.
bad.
Yeah.
It's a lot of kids. When you're talking 150 to 250 kids, we're not within walking distance of a park. We're not within walking distance of a basketball court. We're not within walking distance of anything. Where are those kids gonna play? I'll tell you where they're gonna play. They're gonna go down in the creek. It's our house, a creek, their backyard. They're gonna get in the creek, they're gonna be doing our stuff. And do you want that in your backyard? Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? I'm serious. Put yourself in that, that position. Think about it. Kids need a place to play. You can't build a place and say, oh, this is okay, they don't want to mow, the kids can play in the parking lot. Not gonna happen. And we all know it. Anybody that's ever had a kid knows kids have to have a place to go. So, it hasn't been approved yet, and we don't want it
And
approved.
it's not been rezoned yet either.
Right.
Well, we are not for it.
Well,
Not at all.
That's not at this meeting, but later on.
Okay.
Yeah. But later on, like, when it does come in front of the board for rezoning, then that's,
Well, I just want everybody to put their house right there. Put your house there, and you make that decision.
okay, thank you.
When is the meeting that you would talk about this?
Well, it probably will be at the next council meeting.
Okay,
No, it's not 100%, but it'll probably be at the next council meeting.
2 weeks from now,
Yes,
okay. Thank you.
okay. Anybody else got anything they want to bring up to the council that's not on the agenda? Okay. Anybody, okay.
I'm not sure, I'm Kay Morgan,
Yeah.
723 Northwest 16th Street, and I'm not sure what's on the agenda.
Yeah, it's on the agenda. It'll
Is
be
it?
coming up pretty soon, okay? Yeah. Okay, anything else? Anybody else?
So,
Okay.
I just will come the next one 2 weeks from now.
You guys, are you good? Okay? Okay, thank you. Okay. Moving on, resolutions. Reading of resolution number 12-2021 entitled, "A Resolution Permitting Employees to Carry Over Vacation and/or Personal Days."
I'll make a motion to read
Okay, Councilman Campton makes a motion to read this, resolution. Councilman Lunsford seconds, all in favor? Opposed? Tim?
All right, resolution number 12-2021, a resolution permitting employees to carry over vacation and/or personal days. Whereas the City of Washington's Code of Ordinances awards a certain number of vacation days and personal days annually to city employees in return for their service. And whereas this benefit is codified in section 35.01 and in section 35.02, which sections prohibit accumulating vacation days and personal days and the carryover of vacation days and personal days from one year to the next. And whereas city administration has received requests from department heads to permit the carryover of a limited number of days as a benefit to employees and as a benefit to the various departments for scheduling staff over year-end holidays. Now therefore be it resolved that one, it is the determination of the Washington City Council that there are some benefits to the city to permit carryover of a limited number of days so long as a time limit exists as to the use of those days. Two, employees are hereby permitted to carry up to 2 of their 2021 vacation and/or personal days forward at year end, and that employees must use those days prior to March 1 of 2022. 3, if an employee's carryover days are not used prior to March 1, 2022, said days shall be forfeited. 4, this resolution shall supersede related provisions in sections 35.01G and 35.01H of the city's Code of Ordinances until March 1, 2022, at which time this resolution shall terminate unless renewed or rescinded by the Common Council of the City of Washington or said ordinances are amended. 5, all other provisions of ordinance sections 35.01 and 35.02 shall remain in effect. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon passage. Passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Washington, Indiana, this 8th day of November 2021.
Okay, any questions on
This is the
this?
same thing we've been doing.
Yes.
Why aren't we making this an actual amendment to an ordinance? I probably asked that same question last year, but I just curious.
Well, yes,
I don't know,
Yeah.
I mean, we could, if you wanna make it, in other words, make it something
Instead
that's
of doing this
annual.
every
well,
year.
we didn't know what we was gonna be doing, you know, there's a good chance because of COVID and a lot of people couldn't get
I
the
don't
days
know
in.
how much of it had to do with that, it may have, yeah.
A little bit, you know, I mean, they had to cover, some departments were short, and they had to cover for each other, and they couldn't take when they wanted, so we allowed them to do it just like we did last year, and, yeah, I guess we could have.
I mean, it's fine to do it, I'm just curious
We
why
could've.
we weren't.
Is 2 months enough time for them to use it?
It has been, we just made it, you know,
Have to put something.
yeah, and it hasn't been a problem, you know, to use just those 2, and then they got the rest of their time after that.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second that.
Okay, Councilman Kempton makes a motion to approve, Councilman Dahl seconds, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, that, this ordinance approved. Resolution is approved, excuse me. Okay, ordinances. So we got the final reading, ordinance number 22-2022.
I'll make a motion to read that by title.
Councilman makes a motion to read by title only.
I'll second.
Councilman Dahl seconds, all in favor? Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 22-2022, entitled, an ordinance amending certain provisions contained in the Washington Code of Ordinances, section 155.
Okay, any questions? Can I have a motion to approve this ordinance?
So moved.
Councilman Campton makes a motion to approve, Councilman Brown seconds. A roll call, please.
Councilman Lunsford.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Grass.
Aye.
Councilman Campton.
Aye.
Councilman Emmons.
Aye.
Councilman Dahl.
Aye.
Councilman Showalter.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That ordinance be approved. Second, we got a final reading ordinance 23-2021 entitled 23-2021.
I'll make a motion to read that.
Councilman
by title
Campbell
only.
makes a motion to read by title only.
I'll second.
Councilman Emmons seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance 23-2021, an ordinance amending section 35.04 of the Washington Code of Ordinances.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve.
Councilman Campbell makes a motion to approve, Councilman Brown seconds. Is there any other questions? Okay, roll call please.
Councilman Lunsford,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Gress,
Aye.
Councilman Hampton,
Aye.
Councilman Emmons,
Aye.
Councilman Dahl,
Aye.
Councilman Showalter.
Aye.
Okay, this ordinance will be approved. Final reading of ordinance number 24-2021.
I'll make a motion to read that.
Councilman
ordinance.
Campbell makes a motion to read this ordinance by title only. Councilman Showalter seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 24-2021, an ordinance amending ordinance number 19-2021 regarding compensation of firefighters for the year 2022.
Okay, can I have
Make a
Motion.
to approve it.
Councilman Lunsford makes a motion to approve it, second by Councilman Showalter. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Lunsford,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Gress,
Aye.
Councilman Hampton,
Aye.
Councilman Emmons,
Aye.
Councilman Dahl,
Aye.
Councilman Showalter.
Aye.
Okay, that ordinance will be approved. Okay, then we have an introduction of ordinance number 25-2021.
I'll make a motion to read that ordinance.
Okay, Councilman Campbell makes a motion to read this ordinance.
I'll second that.
Councilman Dahl seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 25-2021, an ordinance rezoning property on and around Northwest 21st Street. Whereas Yolanda Bostic has requested rezoning of several parcels of land on and around 804 Northwest 21st Street as described in attachment A from A1 and R2 to R3. And whereas the Washington City Plan Commission on October 13, 2021 voted to recommend rezoning the property in question, and whereas the Common Council of the City of Washington, Indiana finds that the parcel in question would be more appropriately used as residential 3. Be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Washington, Indiana as follows. Section 1, that several parcels of land on and around 804 Northwest 21st Street as described in attachment A shall be rezoned R3. Section 2, that the Washington Code of Ordinances is hereby amended in conformity with the terms of this ordinance. Section 3, that the property at 804 Northwest 21st Street and adjoining lands as described in attachment A shall be rezoned as residential 3, R3, and all zoning maps in the city of Washington shall reflect this change. Section 4, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage by the Common Council, passed by the Common Council of the City of Washington, Davis County, Indiana, this blank day of blank 2021.
Okay. Is there any questions or comments on this ordinance?
Yes, I'm Kay Morgan, I'm 723 Northwest 16th Street, and I was wondering how much these apartments were gonna rent for.
Yolanda, can you answer anything close?
I can answer approximately because of the cost of things, but they're gonna be between, what everything else is in the city, between $700 and $900 a month.
And I was wondering too, if they don't find people to rent these apartments, if it's gonna turn to subsidized.
No,
Are we sure of that?
I'm sure of that.
At no time during the plan commission was subsidized housing ever mentioned or even brought up.
Yeah. And give it right, they would have to bring that up at that meeting.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And that was asked.
Okay.
I mean, our plan commission did ask
Yes.
that question.
Okay.
And has the plan changed from the original that we had seen a
The,
year ago? Or?
yes, it did. Yeah, the one from approximately a year ago has essentially been cut in half. It was very similar to the other one just a little earlier. It was, approximately 72 units, I think, back then. Now it's at 40. So just 10 buildings. These are 4 together, all laid out on her tracts of ground. And essentially that's why she's wanting to combine the two different zones. into one essentially for the multifamily.
And I know this is just for zoning, but do we have issues with water and sewer and?
Not issues, they're there, it has to be, some of it has to be run, of course, but
Right.
it's in the area, yes, it's close.
The water is good down Maxwell, or, yes, yeah, down Maxwell. Sewer would take a little bit of infrastructure, and then, electric would be, per building or however, Randy would want.
When you say water's good, what size line is that?
We got a 12-inch running down Maxwell,
So
but
you have
it'll
12.
be, them constructing it and looping it back in, it has to be looped back in, so it's not a dead end line.
And she did talk to the county about upgrading the county road. That was gravel.
That's 21st Street.
But widen it too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what.
And based on the plan from the county highway, it was to take her right away, so it'd be on her side, because, it can't go to the west, because there's a home pretty much right there on the corner. So they were looking at taking her right away, widening the road, and then paving to the entrance on 21st. One of the two entrances that come on 21st.
What about sewage and we've already got a problem down there with overflow on, that comes from up on Wyckoff. It comes down and comes across our drive and into our yard and goes
City
up.
sewer?
No, water.
Oh, water. Yeah.
Rainwater,
Sure,
I'm
yes,
talking
yeah, there would be plans in that also.
Yes, there's retention
Yes.
plans.
Yes,
Yes. Yeah, there would have to be.
yes.
And drainage down Maxwell.
As far as the runoff and everything on that property, obviously, we would have Ed look at it before we did, anything. But
Because
yes,
the drainage is not good on Maxwell.
Well, we're hoping this water doesn't get to Maxwell. We're hoping it gets to a retention pond on
The
the
property.
tract. And
Okay.
that's part of what Ed would look at.
Part of the developmental plan.
Correct. Pre-construction plans, what would have to pass his standards. Right.
Well, this is gonna be right in our backyards, and we have a little retreat that we go to back there, and whenever we go, I don't want an overflow of apartments, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the city has already eaten up the country, and soon we're not gonna have any. I mean,
Yeah, and like I said, this is just a rezone right now, but
yeah,
they will have to bring their plans to, the planning commission and get approved later on. But this is just a rezone right now, but yes.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else like to speak on this matter?
Well, I can explain a little bit more that we are going to start with a maximum of maybe 3 buildings. This is the max of 10 buildings, and it could be over time. So it's not going to be a right of way. There's 10 buildings out there. It could be 3 for a very long time. And then we have a large playground, a pool. We have a lot of the planter boxes and stuff for each family. There's a lot of grass. There's a lot of play area. There's a walkway and everything. So it is really to keep it family oriented and plenty of space for everyone. And there's going to be distance in between the buildings. So I don't know if that'll help any on what it kind of looks like out there. And it's going to be very still agricultural. That's why we got the gardening spots and everything for families to take advantage of.
Did you actually buy the lot off of Maxwell to get to you?
That's in my purchase agreement, for the entrance, yes. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, concerns? This is the first reading of this ordinance. Okay, hearing none, this ordinance will be up for adoption at the next council meeting. Okay, next we got an introduction of ordinance number 26-2021.
I'll make a motion to read that order.
Councilman Hampton makes a motion to read this ordinance, and Councilman Dahl seconds. All in favor? Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 26-2021, an ordinance clarifying specifying fees related to non-payment of utility bills. Whereas the Washington Common Council has determined that the language in the Washington Code of Ordinances regarding fees related to non-payment of electric and water bills is misleading and inconsistent in that Appendix A, quote, non-recurring charges refers to a, quote, reconnect charge to the delinquent customer. And whereas it is the intent of the city utility to charge a fee for a delinquent account prior to reestablishing service rather than to charge a fee for the reconnection of service, although there is an additional fee for reconnection of service which must be done after business hours. And now therefore be it ordained that the language in section 54.22D of the Code of Ordinances shall be amended as follows. D, upon the customer paying a delinquent bill, the customer must also pay a delinquent fee of $50. Further, Appendix A, non-recurring charges, shall be amended to change the phrase reconnect charge to delinquent fee. This ordinance shall take full force and effect immediately upon passage, approved and adopted by the Common Council on the blank day of blank 2021, and this ordinance shall take full force and effect upon passage.
Okay, any questions?
Said it's just a language thing, but will this actually up the fees?
No, the fee is the
total
same.
fee will be the same?
Yeah, the fee's the same as it is on this.
Yeah, we just want the language changed. Basically, there's several different reasons why. But with the use of credit cards, I mean, people use credit cards all the time to pay. They see a truck pull in, they automatically call the office, I need to pay my bill. Well, you're still gonna have to pay your $50 delinquent
Even
fee.
though they didn't.
And they say, well, you didn't disconnect
I
it.
got you. Okay. I just don't know
Well,
if the fees- if there
you're
was
still
gonna
on
be
our
added
list.
fees.
Our guys don't take payments. There's a lot of different reasons why, but we just want the language changed. Once you hit that list, you're gonna pay your $50 fee.
Right. How long does it take to get on that list? Day after they late on their payment, 2 days? I don't know.
No, it's about 18 days, they can get on the list. And we just passed, you guys just passed the contract and we just started it 2 weeks ago. We've already done 2 call outs for delinquents. So not only is it on their bill, but they also get a call stating that they are delinquent and they need to pay that bill. Normally, it's not, almost always they get disconnected the week after their current bill is past due. So they're now already, most usually, 2 bills past due before they even get disconnected. So, like I said, it's more of a language thing.
They do have, ample time. to
And
get
it's not
that
fair
taken
to our
care of.
guys every time they go out to have to deal with, I mean, they're still gonna have to deal with that.
Mhm.
But that way, the customers do know, it really doesn't, it's a language thing. It's delinquent, you're delinquent, you have to pay the fee.
How many a month do we do?
We shut off probably 30 or more, upwards of 30. Yeah.
Thank you.
How is that other system working the last couple weeks? Is it
Um,
helping them get paid earlier or not?
We've had, usually within just about an hour or so, people start calling in. And it seems to be 10, 15 people are calling, but some are calling and actually paying their bill right away and not making payment arrangements. They're actually paying their bill. So we decided that we would let it ride for that 100 or that 1,000 calls to see how we feel about that, make sure we're getting our money's worth, so to speak. It's not a whole lot of money to use this program, but again, the mayor unfortunately has to deal with a lot of calls when people say, they didn't call me. Well, we don't.
Well, about 60 or 70% of these calls that we shut off are back on by the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're back on by the time we close for the end of the day. This gets them going, it seems. Unfortunately, we have to do this, and I always tell the people to reach out to us, talk to us, make arrangements, because I tell people all the time, we don't want to shut people off. But we'd rather for them to call and make arrangements with us.
And I am reading this correct, that if they still, if Jim has sent somebody out after hours, they get.
It's the $100 fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless, they have to pay that.
Okay. Any other questions on this? Hearing none, this ordinance will be up for adoption at the next council meeting. Okay, other business. Again, anybody from the audience got any other business for the council tonight?
One thing,
Mm-hmm.
we got a phone call from the water department yesterday, notifying that we had a small spike leak,
Yeah.
that was occurring in an upstairs bathroom that we don't really use very much, so appreciate it. You know, it's a good call to get.
Yeah, they can tell that they
Thank
can
you
see
very
those
much.
spikes. And
Yeah.
if they do, they make that phone call, try to get a hold of somebody and
Appreciate it.
hopefully save people money. Okay, thank you. Anything else from the audience? Okay, not hearing. Councilman Gress, you got anything for us? Councilman Dahl? Councilman Shore? Councilman Brown? Tim?
I have nothing.
Councilman Campbell? Councilman Emmons?
Did you want us to say something?
About the oil that we did meet, no, well, I mean, we met and we discussed it and, or sending information stuff to Tim.
Yeah, and on Channel 10, they had a news thing, and there again, it's, ATVs are not being looked at, and on the news, they said ATVs and RTVs, you know, I know, but
People confused.
I just wanna make that, yeah, we're not looking at ATVs.
So we kind of just told Tim to write an ordinance up and then send it to us, and we would either
Yeah.
vote on it or not vote on
Right. Yes.
it, or amend it, change it, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that one ordinance will have to be amended no matter what.
Right, yeah.
Yes. Okay,
That's all I have.
okay, Councilman Munster?
The only calls I've received are White Ridge, the insurance getting worse. Do you know where we're sitting at, or if there's a plan of correction?
No, I mean, we have to, you know, Brian, you got any, I mean, we haven't looked at, that's not in our plan, I know not for this year, is it? And we really haven't looked at it. We're gonna have to get, probably an engineering firm to give us a study on that, because it's gonna take some engineering on that hill, right? Don't you think?
And we might be able to do something with that mastic that we did recently on Campbell Hill.
Yeah, maybe. We got a new product that
As
we're
a
trying
short
out,
term.
and it's not the fix, but it does help us, you know, get, you know, down the road a little bit. Because that project at White Ridge, like so many of them, it's not gonna be cheap.
It's gonna take a temporary runaround, isn't
There's no way we're gonna be able to pave that without another road.
Yeah, you'd almost have to somehow.
Yeah.
So we might look at that with that product and see, you know, because I know it's getting bad, because, you know, when was it developed, you know? 25 years ago?
At least more than that.
Probably, and then one way in, one way out. It takes a lot of use.
One lane at a time or something, I think.
it? Not fairly, it's not big enough you can do it.
It's not wide enough.
Wide.
It's probably, what is it?
The woods there.
14?
I probably get some extra width in there to be able to do it.
It's not wide enough to work on a lane and have a lane open.
But that's the problem, we know it's coming, and we know it's a problem there because of that.
They almost have to have temporary right away there.
We're gonna, but, you know, we'll see if we can look at it, you know, see if that's even possible for that product or not, to help. And if not, then it's like, with our attention at Campbell's Hill, and people's brought that road to our attention. We're trying that product up there and see if it works. We already tried a little bit of it already. And I wanna see this winter if it stays put, it stays in. So, we'll look at it.
In the big picture, the council should consider an ordinance that doesn't allow concrete streets within the city limits. We don't have one that hasn't failed.
Yeah, true, just a matter of time. So, yeah, we took care, the last administration took care of Cottonwood, and, you know, we got that, and we got Campbell's Hill, we got another one out there, what is it?
Woodmere.
Woodmere, that's gonna have to be addressed sometime, all concrete.
Brian, none of this is stormwater or sewer related down here? Just not a good base when it's put in and
Yeah,
Because I know a lot of the complaints I haven't gotten none recently.
there's some inferior base issue, but
Cold
there's also
was
some
there, and that was
stormwater
never
issue.
done.
There's some stormwater issue on a couple of them, Woodmere and White Ridge.
Some of them, we don't know when they was put in, if they put in by city specs or not.
Oh, more than likely not.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem
I
there.
know, got there.
Big
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
I guess the follow up, did anything move forward on the property out there after we spoke last week? Did you hear anything, Kevin?
Okay, I was just making where you were going with that. You're talking out near the tracks there? Had a talk with the potential buyer, and was, made her aware that, that it is possible that the current owner does have two lots that borders East Side Park Road. It meets all the zoning setbacks and standards as far as being able to be built. But I did have a discussion with the owner now, saying that, even if you saved enough room for the road to go there, whenever that may be, that it is still possible to shrink that lot by the railroad tracks and still accomplish what he wants as an owner, but also still accomplish a potential road, should there ever be one there.
That's where it should be, is along the railroad track.
Essentially,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a very tough issue right there, just the way the lots are set up, the field that goes between East Side Park Road and the houses, the way it comes down and essentially hits the track. So if the sale does go through, the new owner's gonna own 100 foot of where the road would be, and then the current owner would still retain from there to East Side Park Road. So, and he was favorable to that we could survey and shorten up the one lot to leave access. But, it's not in our purview to tell somebody if they can or can't sell.
But they probably should do that before the sale.
Correct.
Yeah, because after the sale, it's gonna, it shouldn't be a lot different. Yeah, we'll look at that, we'll keep abreast on that piece of land, and then we'll also look into, that roadway, keep it on our radar. It's gonna be spring before we do any of that stuff, but, keep it in mind, we knew we had a problem. Okay, anything else? Anything else from you, Councilman Officer? Okay, Kim, you got anything from the clerk's office? Okay, anybody else? Last call? All right, hearing none, this meeting's adjourned. Board of Public Works in 5 minutes. All right, let's call the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting November 8, 2021 to order, please. First thing on the agenda, we got the minutes of the October 25th meeting, regular meeting in front of you.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Councilwoman Ash makes a motion to approve these minutes,
I can say,
and I will second it. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Discussion approval of claims submitted in front of you tonight. Anybody got any questions on these claims?
I move to pay bills.
Okay, Councilman Dahl makes a motion to approve the claims.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Ash seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Discussion and awards of bids received on demolition and removal of all the structures from the premises known as 406 Northwest 2nd, 1502 Vincent Avenue, 312 Cable Avenue, and 709 Southeast 3rd Street. Jonathan, do you, have you looked over the bids?
Yes. Yes, we presented the originals back to the clerk's office, and I brought a copy with me tonight.
Any questions on those bids? Was nothing out of the ordinary?
Nothing out of the ordinary, very competitive. Obviously, we typically take the lowest.
You recommend the lowest?
I'm sorry?
You're recommending the lowest?
I am.
I move
So,
we award the lowest.
Okay,
Yeah,
Councilman Dahl makes a motion to approve the bids as the lowest bids on these 4 properties.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Nash seconds, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, we got opening bids and, for the furnishings of asphalt paving for the year of 2022, advertised 10/19/21 and 10/26/21.
All right, this bid is from Calcar Paving in Jasper, Indiana. It contains a properly executed non-collusion affidavit and a bid bond. Let's see. Item number 1, laid in place HMA 9.5 millimeter surface, $110 per ton. Item number 2, FOB HMA 9.5 millimeter surface, $64 per ton. Number 3, FOB HMA 12.5 millimeter surface, $64 per ton. Number 4, FOB HMA 25 millimeter base, $59 per ton. Number 5, FOB HMA 19 millimeter binder, $61 per ton. Number 6, FOB cold mix, $80 per ton. Laid in place HMA partial depth patching, $220 per ton if and as needed. Comments, item 1 includes mill 1.5 inch, replace 1.5 inch HMA 9.5 millimeter surface, tack oil at rate of 0.10 per gallon per SY, maintaining traffic, all 3-foot approaches. Item 2 through 6 picked up from Otwell plant located at North County Road 800 East Otwell. And partial depth patching includes 4 inches of 25 millimeter base HMA if and as needed. And that's bid number 1. Bid number 2 is from E&B Paving in Bloomington, Indiana. It's a very well sealed bid. It too contains a properly executed non-collusion affidavit. A bid bond. We propose to furnish the following listed bituminous materials for the 2022 asphalt paving seasons: HMA surface paving and milling, 1.5 inch, 9.5 millimeter asphalt surface, $110.75 per ton. FOB base, 25 millimeter asphalt base, picked up from 152 South, 200 West Washington, $56 per ton. FOB Intermediate, 19 mm asphalt intermediate, also picked up from 152 South 200 West Washington, $59.50 per ton. FOB Surface, 12.5 mm asphalt surface, $60.50 per ton. FOB Surface, 9.5 mm asphalt surface, $63.50 per ton. FOB OPR High Performance Cold Mix, $110 per ton. Notes, this proposal does not include any patching or strapping. Adjustment of utility castings and risers will be done by City of Washington employees, and minor cleaning with a tractor burn is included in our paving prices. Here to conclude the bid.
Okay. Any questions?
Those are a little bit higher than last year, aren't
Yeah,
Just
just
everything
slightly,
is going
they?
up.
Quite a bit.
just slightly.
Yeah, $7 to $10 across the board, almost everything per ton.
Yeah. I had that,
The oil's going through the roof right now.
yeah.
I believe we give them to,
Refer them back to the street commission
and then we
for,
do them.
okay, yeah. Councilman Dahl makes a motion to approve, or send it back to the street commission for final approval. Councilman Nash, seconds that, all in favor, side? Aye. Opposed? Brian? Thank you. Look at them. Okay, very good. Final discussion and approval of salary position changes in the electric department. We have three in the electric department.
Like me to read those?
Yes, please.
All right. Request from Randall Ennis, I request the following salary change. Stephen Arney, second-class lineman from $21.70 per hour to third-class lineman at $23.12 per hour, effective November 13th of 2021. Also from Randall Ennis in the electric department, I request the following salary changes. Ty J. Church, from second-class lineman at $21.70 per hour to third-class lineman at $23.12 per hour, with an effective date of November 13th of 2021. Also from Randall Ennis, following salary changes. Ethan L. Wagler, from first-class tree trimmer at $20.66 per hour to $21.57 per hour, also effective date of November 13th of 2021. Then we also have a request from the water department. James Lloyd, I request the following salary change. Matthew Hooten, from swing shift operator, $20.61 per hour to distribution maintenance at $20.35 per hour, also with an effective date of November 13th of 2021.
These, Roscoe, you know, I pretty well know you want to explain to the other board of works members, all
Yeah.
the three guys.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same as always. They've reached their time. Some of them's over the time that we normally go for their raises. They've accomplished their IVA training. They've been really good. As they make these advancements, it does help our productivity as far as what they are allowed to do and the supervision that they have and stuff. So.
And in the water, Matt Hooten was at the plant. He's going down the bottom of the hill distribution. And we're making room for a guy that's starting on the 15th for swing shift. What was that? Where's Randy? Or what was Matt? What's his name today? Max Underhill.
Yeah.
He's gonna go swing shift, starting the 15th. So,
Approve them all.
I'll second.
okay, Councilwoman Ash makes a motion to approve these salary position changes. Councilman Dahl seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Anybody in the audience got anything for the Board of Works tonight? Okay. You guys got anything else for it? Okay. Tim, got anything for the Board of Works? All right. Hearing none, I'm gonna call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.